I'm gonna do something different today. I've never actually tried it, but I'm doing experimenting with some new foods. I'm gonna try broil some oysters, grill them on the barbecue pit, but on top of that, I'm gonna also add a little bit of shrimp and bacon, and of course, on top of it, I'm gonna add a little bit of Parmesan cheese, give it a little bit of saltiness. So that's what I'll be doing today, and it usually takes me a few steps, so you may see some intermissions here and there, but be ready for. I'm gonna actually start off with the first part, which is actually cooking the shrimp and the bacon. First, we'll start with the shrimp and a little bit of this is a little bit of raw shrimp, maybe about a cup. That's all we're gonna need, and of course some bacon. I'll chop it up and we'll go ahead and fry it up. All right, I got the bacon. As you can see, I'm actually doing the large chunks, slices of it first, and then I'll chop them to smaller pieces. Usually those take about 15 or 20 minutes at medium-high heat. So what I'm waiting for is kind of get rid of it. It doesn't have to be completely toasty, but because you're going to chop it up to small pieces. So this is actually going to be on top of the shrimp. Then after this, on top of the oysters. So what we'll do is I'll fry it up. This should take a little bit of time, about 15 minutes. So you can see, it's been about 25 minutes. It took me a little bit longer, but I got it semi-crispy. So you can see it. I already turned it off, but it's still sizzling. I'm waiting for it to cool down. I didn't quite use the whole pack of bacon. I used maybe about 3/4 of the pack. So it's just sufficient. I'm going to use that for about 12.5 oysters. Almost 2 dozens. So that should be enough. All you're going to use it is just as a topper with the shrimp over the oysters. So it's just enough. I'll cut that in little pieces. I'll wait for it to cool. Alright, I got the bacon out. It's cooled down. So we're going to go ahead and chop it up to small pieces. This is what we're actually going to use on top of the oysters. You can either avoid this, maybe though you could actually buy these on this already made for you as bacon bits. Just try to get the real kind of bacon bits. It usually gives it a lot more flavor. But I'm going to show you a little bit of advantages of actually cooking your own bacon in a little bit. Well, let me go ahead and tell you anyway. We're actually going to use a little bit of that grease that's still left on the bacon to fry up the shrimp. So it's going to give the shrimp even more of a bacony taste to the shrimp. So actually a lot more flavor into it. It's the advantages of using real bacon. You have that leftover grease in there, and you can use that for your topper for your oysters that you're going to be cooking later. Chop this up. So you want to get this kind of small. You may actually use a food processor. Might actually help a little bit better. But we'll see what happens here. Just find the small pieces because you're going to actually put these in front of the oysters. On top of them. Cut these up. Cut these up as best you can. I'm going to actually put this in the chopper. So I still need them pretty small. I don't think it's going to take a little bit too long. I'll put this here for now. Like I said, I still got to fry up the shrimp, but with the shrimp I'm going to put a little bit of garlic and a little bit of onions, give it some flavor, additional flavor on top of the bacon grease that's already there. Just going to get 1 clove. This off, cut the edges off. There we go, clean it out. Just 1 clove should be sufficient. Cut into small pieces, as small as you can. Excuse me. I have a little bit of cough. So put the smaller pieces, as small as you can. This is what's actually going to fry real quick with your shrimp. The shrimp is only going to take about 2 minutes. Once you turn on that heat, it's going to fry up real quick, and then I'll chop up the shrimp also. I'm only using like about 1/2 cup of shrimp, maybe about a dozen of small shrimps, medium shrimps. I'll show you right now. Only about a handful. Put this in there with the shrimp. Shrimp over here. And a little bit of lemon, a little bit of onion. Just need a little bit, not too much. You don't want too much overpower with a small piece. That's all you need. Just to get a little flavor. If you want, instead of onions, you could also use some shallots. Gives it a little bit of a sweeter taste. I like to use shallots. In this case, we're just using onions. I think I put enough onions. This is going to have to account for all the onions in part of the oyster. We got a piece of shallots right here. Just a little piece. Anybody ever seen these? These are basically they're onions. They're relative to the onions, but a little bit sweeter, a little bit more. It's like a miniaturized red onion, basically, or purple onion. You can see that's what it is. It's a little bit much bolder taste than a regular onion, or even a purple onion. Just want to put a little piece. Add some shallots because it's a good flavor. Just a small piece. Just cut it in small pieces. I'm gonna fry this up with the onions. I mean with the shrimps. So let's get out of the way. So a little bit. It's gonna be all mixed up with the bacon, the shrimp, the bacon, the onions, the garlic, a little bit of shallots. It's gonna top off on top of the oysters. It's gonna be really, really good. Turn this off. Alright. Let me turn on the heat. Give me a second. Alright, I'm back. I'm about to fry up the shrimp. It's a little bit warm. It's on low heat. You can see inside there's still a lot of the bacon grease in there. I'm going to go ahead and use that. So I'm going to fry this in there at low heat. With the onions and the garlic. A little bit of shallots. Just stir it in there a little bit. It should cook pretty quick. You can see inside, you can see the shrimp just slowly heating up. What I'm going to end up doing is chopping the shrimp up again also, and then chopping it up with the bacon. See, because the bacon grease is actually going to give it some really, really good flavor. Get a little bit hotter. The only reason I want to do low heat is because I'm just afraid of burning the garlic, but it should be fine because the shrimp cooks really, really quick. Remember, even if you don't cook this all the way, you're still going to add it on top of the oysters, and the oysters are going to still be really hot, and you're going to actually be recooking it again, all over again. So it's okay if you leave it a little bit undercooked. Switch it up a little bit while it's frying. While I'm waiting, I'm going to turn on the pit, barbecue pit. You can see we have the charcoal, or the mesquite. It's mesquite charcoal, just a little bit. This is going to be the actual cooking. And then on the side, I'm going to be doing some smoking. I won't turn that one on until later, if you can burn your wood. You can also use mesquite for best results use mesquite, but for now we'll turn this afterwards. Alright, I'm back. While the fire's going, I'm going to go ahead and chop up some of the shrimp that I have here that came off cool down off the frying pan. You want a little bit of that grease still left there, so we'll go ahead and chop that up a little bit. Actually, we may not need to chop it up. We'll go ahead and put the bacon. I'm only going to use like 30% bacon and about 70% shrimp. I'll put it inside the chopper. I'm going to use it all. Just need a little bit. First, chop up the bacon. Put this up to the chopper. One is a small bit. Okay. shrimp with all the grease because we're gonna want it a little pasty. Put it in there. See all the onions and the garlic. Give it some flavor. Alright, chop this up now. You want it a little pasty. This is what you can actually put inside on top of the oysters. That's what you want. Just gonna put a little pinch on each of them, depending on what you want, what's desired. Go ahead and put to the side and see that we have all of this in here. Let me give it a spoon for this. See, it's nice and pasty. It's bacon shrimp. Bacon paste. We're not going to need too much. Just add some extra flavor to the oysters. See that? All of it as you can. Going through that, and I already had prepped some of the oysters. I'm only going to do about half a dozen, or about close to a dozen. And we actually have already opened them up and put them on the half shell. Let me go ahead and show you how those look. Let me bring them over. There you go. I got these ready. While the pit is still going, it usually takes about half an hour. See, got the oysters already chucked and they're ready to go on the pit. So we'll go ahead and show that procedure in just a minute. Now the charcoal's almost done. It's not quite done. That's when you want to turn on the wood that you're going to be using. So I'm going to go ahead and light that up because you don't use that for your smoking. Now that you got the right heat underneath the grill and you got the smoker going with the wood is not quite lit on, but it's on, it's smoking, you can go ahead and get ready to clean the grill. I have two items here. One is the actual steel brush, wire brush. And you actually clean it, but behind it you always want to follow it either with this little gadget I have, has an onion attached to it, so it'll pick up any extra loose pieces of metal in case it falls off the wire brush, just in case. So go ahead and do that, clean that. Alright, I got high heat in the bottom, so it's almost ready there. Alright, before I go out to the grill, these are the items I'm going to need. I have the oysters. I got the bacon and shrimp paste with the green onions, actually shallots and onions and garlic, and I have a little bit of butter. I'm going to put just a little bit since there's a little bit of salt inside the bacon before I go out. Putting down the oysters. It's very hot. It's a little hot. Put them up here on that very high heat. See, I got the smoke coming out of the smoker and very heat. Alright, then I'm going to go ahead and close it. That should be about 10-15 minutes. Alright, what I decided to do is I'm going to go ahead and transfer them over to this little mesh, wiring mesh, just to catch anything else. I don't want anything to slime out. Smoke. I'm smoky. Wait. decided to do, I'm going to go ahead and transfer them over to this little mesh, wiring mesh, just to catch anything else. I don't want anything to slime out. It's smoky. Very smoky. Wait. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of butter right now. It's about halfway cooked. Just to add some grease into it. Pop a little hole into it, let it sit there. A little bit of butter. It's a little smoky. A little bit. A little bit of butter. I use sometimes my fingers. A little bit of butter. Alrighty, I guess we'll let that sit there for another 5 minutes. We'll come back and put the shrimp on. It's here ready to go. We look at the shrimp and the oysters, so you can see they're sizzling. The butter's already sizzling, so I'm going to start putting a little bit of this paste. You know, remember it's already cooked. It's like 3/4 cooked, but it's going to cook anyway a little bit more. It's best to do it with your hand. It's hard to do with a spoon. Just put a little bit. Just put as much as desired. Some people may want a lot. But I just wanted to give it a little bit of a good taste. Just to cover it up. So, this up. A little bit. Toppers, just like a little topper. So, you have to rotate these. It looks like the ones closest to the smoke are hotter than that. There. Here. Oh, this one looks like it needs a lot more. This one right here. Alright, just pat it down. Just pat it down a little bit. Alright, let me rotate these a little bit. You don't want to try to move them too much. The best thing is just rotate the bottom screen. Easier than trying to move all of them at the same time. You have to slide them a little bit. Alright. Move these a little bit slide them a little bit to the edge. Let these cook a little bit more now. Oh yeah, look good. Yeah, okay. Give it another 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll throw the Parmesan cheese over it. Let's give it a little bit of time until it starts sizzling all over again. All right. It is everything sizzling, so we're gonna go ahead and put the Parmesan cheese now. Come here. This is actually gonna add a little bit more salt to it, so just put as much as you need. Because we didn't put any salt anywhere. It's just the butter. A little bit of butter, a little bit of bacon, the salt. So now, I'll put some in my hand right here. Pinch it, put a little bit in there. Parmesan cheese. it in there. Looks good. Give it another 3, 4, 5 minutes. It should be ready to go. We should be able to take it in and eat it. Alright? Alright, just came out of the grill. You can see it's still sizzling. You know it's cooking with the butter. I'm going to put just a little bit of parsley. Just give it a little bit of greenery. Really looks nice. It's a little dry because I didn't use too much butter because of the bacon. The bacon has a lot of salt in it. Usually when I don't put bacon in it, I'll put a little bit extra butter. And it'll be a little bit more moist. But I like it a little dry also. So you can see, put a little bit more. Looks really nice. A little bit of parsley. And pull it out so you can see it a little bit better. Get a little hot. You can see. It's hot. Your final product is right here, ready to eat. You have to wait a little bit because it is hot. You can see it's nice and toasty. That's your finish. Really good. Look at it, it's all meat, bacon, shrimp. Oops, a little bit fell off. Really good. Not too salty, just perfect. Because that bacon didn't put too much butter. If I put a little bit too much butter, it would have come out salty. It came out perfect. Just a little bit of butter. Now remember, let's recap of everything that we used. The shrimp and bacon paste. I put a little bit of shallots, a little bit of onions, a little bit of garlic. You remember seeing that 1 clove of garlic? Now we even have a little bit of extra paste. I didn't even put that much paste. The shrimp paste. And the Parmesan on the end. The thing about the barbecue, you want to have it at high heat. And then you have the side smoker to have it, give it a little bit of smokiness. That's what I call a little bit of a Texas kick. So it really actually tastes really good. Oh. Hopefully you'll be able to make this in your own backyard. And hopefully we get a lot of viewings of this particular dish. Thank you. It really tastes good. I hope you guys can make this at your house.